Almost all of this pair of shoes is made from plastic, like most other sneakers that you'll find on the market today. These ones don't use any plastic, except for the laces, which are made from a single recycled pop bottle.
And they're way more comfy.
Hey team, welcome back to another Levi's Save the World Hildebrand episode, the channel where we prove that you don't need to be a hero to save the planet. Today we're going to be talking about one of the most innovative companies that I've discovered since starting this channel, Allbirds shoes. This company has been really setting a pace, threatening to revolutionize the shoe industry. Leah and I have worn these shoes for the better part of 2019. I even brought mine on our 5-week trip through Europe, where there were only one of the 2 pairs of shoes that I brought with me during that time, so we definitely gave them a run for their money. Now, I was skeptical of this company at first because whenever a company says that they're environmentally friendly, I'm immediately suspicious of their intentions. That being said, after doing my research and wearing these shoes, I can safely say that this is one of the most impressive pairs of shoes that I've ever worn, plastic or not. Now, the reason why this is so remarkable and the reason why I'm making this video is that plastic is a really perfect material for building shoes and pretty much everything else. But if you've been on the internet over the last 2 years, you've seen how plastic has wreaked havoc on our natural environment. So for my contribution to Plastic Free July, I am going to be featuring a number of companies that are pushing us towards a less plastic dependent future. Allbirds being the first of those. So if you want to stay tuned for all of those updates, hit the subscribe button, ring that little bell so that you're notified whenever I upload a video. But you can also follow me on Instagram to see some of the more day-to-day struggles for me trying to live plastic free for this upcoming month. Now, you don't have to have 15 pairs of Jordans in your closet to know that it's pretty hard to stand out in the shoe industry nowadays. But Allbirds has done pretty well. They've done this by combining environmentalism and sustainability with a super wearable, fashion-savvy product. Their marketing says,
"Hi there, we're a sweet-ass little American startup run by some Kiwis. We're heaps keen to make a shoe that's good for you and the earth. Because the planet's beached ass, bro."
This optimistic but poorly accented perspective is almost in contrast to the sustainability messages that you see from other prominent environmentalist brands like Patagonia and Fjällräven. You can see a full video that I made breaking down Patagonia as a company linked up in the cards right now, and you should probably hit that subscribe button because I'm going to be making a whole video about Fjällräven in a later video this month. Allbirds has taken the sustainability ideology and paired it with an easygoing, minimalist design that makes it easy for the consumer to know that the purchase that they're making is good for the environment. But is all of this just marketing fuzz, or can they actually back up the claims that they make? Yes, Allbirds is well certified as a B Corporation, which means that Allbirds has gone through a very rigorous process to ensure that the claims that they make about their products is true. Something that I look for in all sustainable companies that I cover on this channel. They have also been certified by the FSC, the Forest Stewardship Council, which is a pretty rigorous process as well to ensure that any wood products that is used by a company are ethically and sustainably sourced.
That might be a wee tease for what you can look forward to next in the video.
So Australian, I can't stop being Australian. But the reason why I am so excited about making this video is because of the innovative cojones that this company has. I mean, they started a company built off of a material that had never been used in the shoe industry before. I mean, we might as well stop calling them Allbirds and just start calling them all. Take a look at these shoes. Literally almost everything on this shoe is somehow made or incorporated into plastic. Most shoe companies use these kinds of materials for one important reason. They are so cheap. We've made plastic incredibly affordable, and when it comes to big companies like Nike and other shoe brands, bottom line is everything. And if you can save money, you can make money. Bam! But Allbirds has done away with all of that, and they've chosen to use different and innovative materials to prove that you can make shoes using more sustainable stuff, but you can also make your shoes better at the same time. Now, the materials that I'm going to list are pretty complicated, and honestly, they could all be the subject of their own specific video, but what I'm going to focus on is how Allbirds is using these materials to shake up the game. But before we even get into that, we need to look at this box. This is the box that I received my Allbirds in the mail. Exactly the way it is right now. You can see the Purelator sticker on it right there. And this is kind of an innovation in and of itself. The fact that you can just ship a shoebox. This minimizes a lot of the packaging required to send and receive shoes. This little piece of tape is the only plastic on here. Let's open it up. This is the shoe that launched Allbirds as a company. An innovative new material in a pretty classic foolproof design. This is the first mass-marketed merino wool shoe ever made. They source all their wool through a company based out of New Zealand called ZQ Natural Fibers, and to make a long story short, they are a very well-regulated industry with a lot of checks and balances. This merino wool material is one of the reasons why they received reviews as some of the most comfortable shoes on the market today. Merino wool, according to Allbirds, is more than 60% more energy efficient than other industry standards, but that doesn't mean that it's without its critics. A lot of people within the vegan and animal rights communities oppose the use of merino wool in any form because of its reliance on animal products. But Allbirds takes their alternative use of materials strategy even further, and it's gonna make my vegan friends happy as well. That's because they're using trees. That's right, Allbirds is bringing back the classic clog design. This streamlined, simplistic shoe is being brought back from its German heritage to create... These shoes are made from trees, but you wouldn't necessarily know that if you had them on your feet. The material that is used is derived from trees that are broken down and then turned into a fiber, a process that has been patented by a company called Tencel. Tencel has developed a pretty innovative closed-loop cycle that has managed to reclaim 99% of the water and solvent used in its production process. The final product is also completely compostable. They've also won a whole bunch of European and international awards for their innovations as a sustainable company. Again, I could make a video about this company all on its own. Allbirds then took the material game to a whole other level when they literally invented their own. Sweet foam is a bioplastic alternative that Allbirds developed with a company called Braskem. This material is made out of Brazilian sugarcane. They used sugarcane because it relies on natural rainwater rather than irrigation and grows extremely quickly. Allbirds then made this technology open source. And that for me is the straw that broke the camel's back, because not only is this company innovating and leading the charge to develop these new technologies, but they're not proprietary. They're not holding on to that technology for their own personal gain. They're sharing it with as many people as possible to help move everyone forward. And if that's not inspiring, I mean, I don't know what is. But as I mentioned with every brand video that I make on this channel, all of the environmental precautions in the world don't make a difference if your product sucks. So, do Allbirds suck? No, they're actually pretty awesome. Allbirds cost about the same as most decent sneakers on the market today, between $95 and $115 US. So if you're going to buy like a decent pair of Nikes, you could spend the same amount of money or less and save the planet at the same time. But I know that money isn't everything. People spend absolutely insane amounts of money to buy shoes nowadays, and I think that fashion has a huge part to do with that. These things are pretty fashionable. Look at that. The one quarrel that I have with these shoes is that they are the most fashionable when you're not wearing socks, and that's just not a thing that I like to do. I'm not a guy who enjoys not wearing socks. I don't know if that's just a me thing. If you're not worried about looking too fashionable, then wearing socks with these bad boys is equally as comfortable, and that's what I do most of the time. But my personal preference aside, these shoes are incredibly comfortable. Should you be running or hiking in them? Definitely not. But while we were on the trip, these things were a perfect casual thing to wear, and in that context, they're super nice. So Allbirds has managed, on a startup scale, mind you, to build the quote-unquote world's most comfortable shoe using innovative, sustainable materials, some of which they invented themselves, and they sell it at a reasonable price. I mean, I don't know, it's hard to imagine how much better it could get. Except it can, because on top of all this, Allbirds is entirely carbon neutral, which means that they use a carbon offset program to pay for all of the carbon that the entire company in its entire production line creates to make these shoes. Just another little cherry on the top of the cake for you. Now, of course, the most sustainable option is always to not buy something. Use what you already have or buy it used if you can. But if you're hell-bent on buying yourself a nice new pair of shoes, then Allbirds is by far the coolest company on the market.
Don't take our word for it, though. Our reviews are sweet as.
I apologize to every single Kiwi person who has to watch this video.
Everyone's keen on Allbirds. You'll look Scots in your new Allbirds.
You're gonna look Scots in Allbirds. You'll look, I'm getting British now. Literally, I'm reading it off of a thread. 56 typical New Zealand slang words and how to use them very poorly in this case. Jokes aside though, I am super pumped that I'm getting to make this video for Plastic Free July because I really wanted to make this video about Allbirds for a while, but I didn't want to do it without actually getting experience with the shoes before I made the video. If you're interested in checking out the rest of the companies that I'm going to feature this month for Plastic Free July, hit the subscribe button down below, ring the little bell, and even find me on Instagram if you want to catch up with my day-to-day attempts to be completely plastic free. We'll see how that goes. But whether or not you're gonna buy a pair of Allbirds or not, I wanna thank you for taking the time out of your day to spend some time with me because I really appreciate that. And if you are subscribed to this channel, we will see you in the next one.